major signals are, like, wow, these are signs, these are signals that Jesus is just about to come.
And the situation with Israel is dire. They've had trouble before. Nothing like this.
Right.
It's a 7-front war. They're being pressured into a 2-state solution they'll never accept. And see, the end of this age is the whole world marching against Israel to try to impose on them a 2-state solution, or to just take them out completely.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can see that happening.
You can see that. I mean, you got the EU pushing them. You got the Euphrates running dry, so the kings of the east can come through right there. You've got all the little things in a row happening. The ritual baths around the Temple Mount filling up with water. You had foxes on the Temple Mount and fish in the Dead Sea. You had the Dead Sea turn blood red last fall, where Sodom and Gomorrah was, and it was on the Day of Atonement.
Wow.
I mean, it's like, checklist. It's like, oh my, I told the Lord, I said, you're just showing off now. It's really getting to where you really have to not want to comprehend what's going on, because it's so blatant to me. So it's like, it's super, super clear.
It's so clear. I mean, no one can say that the Lord didn't warn us.
Absolutely.
It's been in the lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, signs in the sun, moon, and stars, all the signs on the earth. And so this is a very important day now. And you go through in your book kind of a timeline. The rapture, the next major event will be the rapture of the church, probably. Nothing has to happen for the rapture to happen. Is that right?
Right, sure.
And so then the tribulation, and then the second coming, when we return with Jesus, he sets up his millennial kingdom. What is the millennium? What will the millennium be like?
I too, a lot of preaching on the millennium. It's intriguing that we've not heard hardly any messages on that, because once you get into it, it's super exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Israel will be the head of all nations, but I love it that what about prayer? I'll answer them before they call on me. I mean, it's going to be we used to think of it as 1,000 years of floating around worshiping. There's going to be commerce. There's going to be football. There's going to be, the curse is going to be lifted off the earth, but it's just going to be man literally finally reigning over the natural people, seeing the glorified ones reign over the natural people for that 1,000 years. I like Zechariah 14. It shows how he requires them to go up to the temple once a year for church.
Right.
And it's not that God's mad at him, but there's his hearing him speak will sustain them for an entire year. In other words, how would you like to eat a cheeseburger and it kept you strong for an entire year? Well, that's a great cheeseburger. Well, if they'll come to church once a year, they'll be able to sustain themselves for an entire year. So it's going to be a cool time with the earth finally having peace. What's amazing is the Lord lets people choose him even without a tempter. People still reject him even during that time. I think people walk up to us and wait a minute, so you asked Jesus into your heart when you couldn't see him? We'll go, that's right, through the foolishness of preaching. And we'll be able to go, well, there he is right there, you need to get saved. So it's going to be a wonderful 1,000 years. It's going to be so cool.
And the people you're talking about that are on the earth during the millennium, that's not us. That's not the church.
Right. That's the people that make it through the latter part of the tribulation, that enter into the kingdom where Jesus gives the sheep and goat judgment there. And those natural people that go in, when their kids reach the age of accountability, we'll point to him and go, there he is right there, you need to get saved. And how people could find something to not like about Jesus, I still have not figured that out. Like, he's too bright, I don't like his beard. I mean, what do you...
I think two things, Joseph. One is his laws. He's a God of order. And just like with Adam and Eve, and Adam and Eve is such a perfect example. He gave them the entire authority over the entire earth. He gave them perfect bodies. He lived in their presence. There was only two scriptures in their Bible. Be fruitful and multiply, and don't eat the fruit of that tree. I mean, that's pretty simple to remember. And they rebelled with Satan's help, and at the end of the millennium, Satan will be unloosed from his being bound. And he'll go out into the nations. You're exactly right. These are the descendants of the sheep nations. Right. And they will rebel against him, and an amazing thing. But this will not be us. But the thing you said earlier is very important for people to hear. First of all, we have glorified bodies. Okay, we never get sick, no more pain, have all the energy in the world, explore the earth as we want to. But we're also ruling and reigning with Jesus. And Jesus told a parable about minas. And in this parable, it's very telling. He said the man had 5 minas, and he said, Lord, here's your 5 minas, and I made you 5 more minas. He said, good, I'm going to make you ruler over 5 cities. And so I believe, this is a personal opinion of mine, I believe that what we do on this earth in the millennium, it translates into geographical authority. And so if we have been good stewards on this earth with what God's given us, we get into the millennium. He says, for 1,000 years, you're going to be ruling over this area here and all these people here. There's not going to be any bad government. There's not going to be more elections. And it's going to be Jesus ruling over the earth with us, and we're going to be living. There's going to be commerce. There's going to be joy. There's going to be parties. But it's all righteous.
Yes, yes. I always say you're writing your resume for what you'll be doing during the millennium. And it's like... I love how you explain that, because I've tried as hard as I could for people to get to see how normal the millennium will be. I remember the Lord told me, I was preaching in Nebraska, He said, tell them they've never seen a roller coaster until you see one in the millennium. I'm like, wow. Because I think of playing golf at St. Andrews, get translated to Augusta and play golf, get translated to Pebble Beach, because nighttime will be like our day, daytime will be 7 times brighter, and we won't get tired. I might want to play golf for 3 days in a row. And people say, well, you think you want to do that? Yes, you carry your likes from this age into the next dispensation. And we're not weird. It'll be very, very normal. That's what I think.
Absolutely.
The devil tries to tell young people we're just going to be playing harps for 1,000 years. I'm like, well, we'd be in harp school right now if that's what we're going to be doing. But it's going to be super, super normal. Everything about Jesus is normal. And Lucifer tries to paint the picture of him of being an oddball. No, he's the normal of all normals, that's for sure.
That's exactly right. And so it's just that we're going to have so much fun. It's going to be such a fantastic time. We'll be doing something purposeful, which we were created to do, and at the same time, all of our families going to be there that are saved. I believe we're going to be in family units. That's like the Lord. We're going to be scattered away from our family, and
Absolutely.
So it's going to be this wonderful time. And so you said something that I want people to understand. You said we're going to be translated over here and translated over there. See, in our glorified bodies, we can travel at the speed of thought. And so if we were going to go from Jerusalem to St. Andrews and play golf, it would take about 2 seconds.
Right,
You get over there and play golf, then you want to get back to Jerusalem to worship, it'd take about 2 seconds. It's just going to be this incredible period of time.
Yes. Never gain weight again, never get tired again. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, that's for sure.
And you never even think about being sick or being tired or not being able to do something. So after the millennium, there's 1,000 years. We're told 6 times in Revelation 20, it's 1,000 years. What happens after the millennium?
After that, you've got the great white throne judgment, and during that time, the earth is renovated. And then I always say this, I hate moving, but the Lord's going to get a U-Haul, and He's going to move the New Jerusalem down to the earth. I mean, think of it, the logistics of that are just crazy, that He's going to move His city down here to the earth. And there'll be a natural race forever that the glorified ones will be ruling over for eternity. We'll be a ruling class. So the natural people eat of the trees are on the river there, and he that hath the Son hath life. So it's weird how people think the Lord changed His mind with Adam and Eve. He didn't change His mind, it just got interrupted. So it's going to go back to that, to where you'll have a natural man for eternity. And it's nothing but good. Think of all the facets we'll learn about Jesus during that time. New things about Him and His mercy and His kindness and His love. Like, wow, how could we have ever thought we could not know Him? So wonderful.
We only measure that which is limited. I go buy gasoline, they measure the gasoline. But they don't measure oxygen, because I can have all I want. Right. But if I go scuba diving, they measure it, because it's going to be limited underneath. When we get into eternity, Joseph, time means nothing. It's unlimited. It never ends. And so we never think about, well, it's been 3 days, I'm going to go stay with Him for 3 weeks. I'm going to go. It's you do it. You can worship Jesus for 1,000,000 years, and it's like 2 seconds.
Never get tired. What an exciting future. I mean, here the very thing that the church should be screaming about how wonderful our future is, it got turned into fear and scary and bad. Right. Too strange.
So how can people find out? This is your book here, and End Times Made Easy, subtitle, There Is No Bad News for the Christian. Amen. And I love that. By Joseph Morris. Joseph, how can they get this book?
They can go to josephmorris.com. They can go to Harrison House. They can go to Amazon. There's several different ways you can get it. But josephmorris.com, we'll get it to you as quick as we can. So
great. And now you said you have a 10-minute weekly update that you do.
End of days update. They can go to our website, josephmorris.com. I try to do, it's hard to do, like you talk about, in 10 minutes, talk about what's happened to Israel that week. But I try to show, like Israel hitting Damascus last Thursday, the Ark of the Covenant coming in, being put at Shiloh, just like all those little things, just to show literally every single week a few things that happen, just to kind of an update to get them ready for what's about to happen.
Well, I have friends that listen to you every week and love your teaching. And you travel a lot. You're out preaching. Is your itinerary on your website?
Yes, it is. You can go in there and see exactly which city is next, and it's all laid out there on josephmorris.com.
Joseph, what a great book that you've written. Thanks for joining me today, and God bless you. And if you're a subscriber, you can stay tuned, and I'm going to go now into the subscriber-only portion, talking about the meeting with President Trump on Monday and the significance of that. Very good meeting, and talked about some details of that. Very interesting concerning the future of America and which president we choose, because there could not be more of a difference. I'm also talking about Israel bombing Iran last Saturday and the response of Iran, and the Ayatollah is about to die. The Khamenei looks like he's about to die and his son's about to take over. Talk about the significance of that. And also the Ark of the Covenant, the exact replica on display in Jerusalem. If you're not a subscriber, 10times.com, I want you to become a subscriber. About the price of a Happy Meal. $7 a month, you can get ad-free the entire podcast here. All other podcasts we have, information, breaking news all week long. We want to encourage you and inform you about the days that we're living in. Become a subscriber. Go to endtimes.com. We also have a free trial, 7-day free trial, so you can go there and check us out. And so if you're not a subscriber,